Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the Player's Handbook, and we're talking about spellcasting. We're discussing spells of all the levels for all the casters, and today we're starting on the Warlock. Depending on who you ask, the Warlock is one of the best casters in D&D, and I say depending on who you ask because it's kind of like this. If you like regular casters, wizards, sorcerers, maybe even bards and clerics, the Warlock feels weird. The Warlock is not your typical caster or even half-caster. But if you ask someone who's played a Warlock before, it's almost impossible to get them to stop. It's an addictive class to play. Their spellcasting recharges on a short rest instead of a long, but they only get a couple spell slots to cast per short rest. Your average level 5 Warlock has 2 spell slots, both of 3rd level, that they can use to cast, and after that they're leading into their Eldritch Invocations and their cantrips. And that's what we're talking about today, is their cantrips. Warlocks are famous for their cantrip use because most of the time a Warlock lays down a concentration spell or hits the field with a big, area of effect, and then goes to casting cantrips because that's all they've got. It's honestly not a bad strategy, but it's one of those things that merits serious discussion. I've prepared a top 5 list of Warlock cantrips, 2 for combat, 2 for utility, and 1 honorable mention to go over today. Before we get into the details, though, I'd like to let you know, Relaxed Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. You get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know you're a supporter. You get early access to my videos a day before everyone else, and you get VIP access in my community Discord, where I've been sharing some of my homebrew content recently. If any of that sounds interesting to you, you can click the join button just down there next to the subscribe button. And if it doesn't interest you, that's fine as well. The Discord's free for anyone to join. You can find links in the video and channel description. And honestly, just being here, watching the video, liking and subscribing to the channel, these are all wonderful ways to support me. So thank you for watching my content here on YouTube. Starting on the combat side of things, let's talk about the spell Blade Ward. Warlocks are a little tankier than your average caster. They've got a d8 hit die, wear light armor. Blade Ward is a really solid option for your concentration as a cantrip if you've got nothing better to concentrate on. It lasts for a minute, you concentrate on it, and while you do so, any time that you get attacked by a creature, they have to subtract the d4 from their attack roll, potentially causing the attack to miss. This effectively raises your armor class by a d4, but it changes per attack. But it's still a really solid defensive buff. It allows the Warlock to be just that little bit tankier and a little bit more defense-oriented. If you're a Hexblade Warlock, or if you're a Blade Pact Warlock who likes to get in close, this is actually a really, really good thing to have in your back pocket. I give it number 2 for combat. Number 2 for utility goes to the spell Mage Hand. Mage Hand is a solid utility spell allowing you to summon a spectral hand and then use your action to move it around within 30 feet of you, pick up objects, and interact with the environment. It can't attack, it can't do anything in combat, really. I mean, unless you summon it somewhere to throw a switch. It allows you to increase your reach by 30 feet in that respect. Maybe there's a trap you can set off or something. But it also allows you to set off traps when you need to walk through a space so that you don't have to walk through it yourself. The Mage Hand doesn't take damage. And there's a lot of shenanigans you can get up to with a good Mage Hand. So I give it number 2 for utility. Before we get to the number 1s, I'll throw my honorable mention out here, and that is the spell True Strike. Warlocks use their Pact of the Blade ability, if they take Pact of the Blade, to attack with their charisma. But that requires you commit your invocation to Pact of the Blade. If you don't want to do that, and you still want to carry a weapon on you, True Strike is the answer. It's a cantrip that allows you to make a spell attack with a weapon. It can be a ranged or melee weapon. It attacks with your charisma modifier, and it does the damage of the weapon plus your spellcasting modifier. So it can be a little stronger than a cantrip in some situations. This also means that you can attack with a bow or crossbow as easily as with a sword or a hammer. And it does scale as well, like cantrips tend to do, meaning that that single attack you're making is getting more powerful as the game goes on. It's certainly not my first pick when it comes to attacking warlocks, but if you have the ability to use this and you aren't a Pact of the Blade warlock, this would be a cantrip for consideration. Moving on to the number ones. Number one for utility, I give to the spell Minor Illusion. Warlocks are charisma casters, they're tricksters, they are deceptive and persuasive, and Minor Illusion just enhances their trickery. It allows you to create either a sound or an image. The image has to fit in a 5-foot cube, but the image can look like an object, and it looks real. It doesn't look like a hologram or anything. This means that creatures will think it's real, and if they have a reason to suspect it, they have to make a check, I think it's investigation, to see whether or not it's real or not. Of course, they can touch it, and their hand will go straight through it, since it's not a real object. It'll just an illusion, and then they can see through it. But unless they make contact with it or make that investigation check, they'll just think it's real. You can create like a panel of wall that you can hide behind, or you can create a box that you can crouch inside. You can create obscurement, you can create distractions, anything you like, and that sound works great for distractions too, being able to cast it distance away from you and distracting people from your position. It's a solid spell, it has 1,000,001 uses, and I think it goes right here at number one for utility. But the number one cantrip for warlocks, and of course this is going to be no surprise at all, it's a combat cantrip called Eldritch Blast. It is their classic attack cantrip, and the one that really stands out above all others. Eldritch Blast fires beams of blast energy that does force damage. Force damage is not resisted by any creature in the monster manual, at least not the new one. And it does 1d10 of damage, which is a solid amount. You can also stack invocations onto it, Agonizing Blast, to add your charisma modifier to it, Forceful Blast, which allows you to, or is it Repelling Blast, that allows you to push creatures or knock them around. Eldritch Blast is a very, very customizable spell. It also has a fantastic range of 120 feet, and to top it all off, when it scales up, rather than simply gaining another d10 damage die, it fires a second beam. So now you've got 2d10 of damage fired in 1d10 shots. You can fire them at the same creature, clustering your shots, or even spread them around the battlefield. This also allows Agonizing Blast to stack your modifier multiple times. It does so much damage, and one of the most basic, easy to run, and powerful ways to run a Warlock is to take the spell Hex, Eldritch Blast, and then grab Agonizing Blast, and then you've got yourself a machine gun, and you're just firing off at enemies that lasts you most of the game. There are, of course, better spells you can use as the game goes on, but Eldritch Blast is tried and true, and it is not a hot take to say that it is the best Warlock cantrip and my number one choice for combat. And that's it. If you are a Warlock and you're not sure which cantrips to try out, Eldritch Blast is the classic. True Strike is a nice alternative if you want to use a weapon. Blade Ward is great for concentration and defense, and of course Mage Hand and Minor Illusion are awesome for utility-focused and deceptive-focused Warlocks. All of them are good. You really can't go wrong. And yeah, I hope that helps. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more spellcasting reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.